if you need 365 ways to close that sale, you're probably doing it wrong. I only ever use one technique to close clients, candidates, deals. It's the same technique I've used for the past 10 years, and I've been known to do the odd deal here or there. So let me tell you all about it. So you've come to this video because you're interested in recruitment skills, sales skills, getting more deals, being more successful, increasing your revenue, some combination of all those kind of things. Because of that, and the fact that that's all I do on this platform, hit the subscribe button, hit the notifications, and every single week you'll get a message from YouTube telling you there's a new video come out. This platform, this channel is all about getting more successful and increasing your revenue as a recruiter. So hit the subscribe button. My name's Stephen Long, and I've been in recruitment for more than 20 years now. I've trained recruitment consultants, I've built my own recruitment desk, and I've founded, built and sold my own search firm. So along the way, I've done the odd deal here or there. And the only technique I ever use is a 3-stage technique called SAQ, S-A-Q. I'll tell you about it in a second. It's important that you know, first of all, where it came from. And it's one of those accumulations of lots of things. I went on my first sales training course when I was about 25, which is back when dinosaurs still roamed the earth compared to most of you. But back in the day, we were all taught about features and benefits and objection handling and closing techniques. And I took all that on board and I did it, and it kind of worked, sort of, some of the time. But what I began to notice was that the real outliers, the people who were having phenomenal results closing deals, didn't seem to use the stuff that I'd been taught. And that kind of sucked, frankly. But I could see them closing loads of deals, left, right and centre, but I didn't ever notice them closing anything. People just kind of bought from them, and honestly, it bugged me. And I spent a lot of time, I did oceans of research, hundreds of books, dozens, probably hundreds of training courses of various kinds. And then suddenly, I was just having a cup of coffee one morning, well actually a strong double espresso to be strictly accurate, and it suddenly just chunked into place. One of those moments of sudden, oh my word, everything suddenly slotted into place. I have no idea what made it happen that morning, whether it was I actually remember where I was. I was sat in a cafe just round the corner from the Piazza della Repubblica in Florence. Nothing special about the day, very nice day in spring in Florence, lovely time, lots of nice people around, something. Maybe I was feeling peaceful or something, I don't know. But suddenly, all the stuff I'd learned from watching salespeople and recruiters and NLP and behavioural psychology and all the courses I've been on, and all the deals of my own that I'd done, suddenly went click. And I got it. And I realised that actually, it's not a matter of closing people. It's a matter of reminding them why they want to buy and giving them the opportunity. And pulling together all those different pieces from all the courses, all the books, all the experiences I've had, pulled it all together, scribbled it down really quickly while I was thinking about it, and went out and tried it. And the first place I tried it was in my direct marketing. And I started to create direct marketing pieces and using this technique, this SAQ, S-A-Q technique, to close off the mailing pieces and get people to fill in the application forms. The response rates were ridiculous. We added nearly 50% to our response rates, which were already okay. And then I started using it personally in closing my own deals. Then I trained it to my own colleagues in my own sales team. They had a similar sort of bump in their closing deals rates. And then I started to test it with established clients And then we started to roll it out to the thousands of people who were training every year. And it consistently, whatever we did, every time we tested it, whether it was over the phone, face to face, in writing, it just got the job done. And let me explain it to you. It comes in three pieces. The first S is for summarize. And it simply consists of repeating back all the things that you've already agreed on with the other person, whether it's a client or a candidate. Repeat back literally what you've already agreed on. So to give you an example, you've been in your current role for 6 years, you've got this experience, you've done this, 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 and this. And as you summarize those things back, they'll be going, yes, 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 oh yes, oh yes, 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 oh yes. Now, there's a basic rule about human psychology, which is the more people agree, the more they tend to keep agreeing. So by simply summarizing back all the things that we've discussed, summarizing back to you, your career, your history, what you're looking to achieve, all those simple bullet points, summarize them back. And because I'm being accurate, I'm not putting a spin on them, I'm not paraphrasing. Paraphrasing, by the way, I love that. Paraphrasing is when you take what somebody said and you turn it into the words that they would have used if they were as clever as you. So summarize back accurately what's been said, what's been agreed, what their experiences are, and what they're trying to achieve. Summarize. The A is for advise. And it simply goes, because of that, what I'd suggest is. So you summarize back all these points. And because you're summarizing, they go, yes, 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 I agree, I agree, I agree, I agree. You then simply say, okay, because of that, what I'd suggest is. And then you make your recommendation, you make your proposal. Now, I use this technique to close off each stage of a recruitment process or each stage of a deal with somebody. I can use it to get an appointment. I can use it to set up an interview, to agree a fee. I use that same technique anytime I want somebody to agree with me. I use SAQ. Now, the words I just used, because of that, what I'd suggest is, they're very carefully phrased, they're very specific. The first thing is the use of the word because. The word because is one of those wonderful, magical words in the English language. Anything that comes after a because is assumed to be valid. It's assumed to have meaning and to have accuracy about it. Because it's called causal linkage. And whatever comes before the because is linked to whatever comes after the because. So if I summarize everything we've said, and that's all true, because of that, what I'd suggest is this. So if A, B, C, D, and E are true, because of that, what I'd suggest is E, F, G. Now, I know that sounds too simplistic. You can't say just because those things are true. But that's one of the little mental shortcuts that people actually use to take decisions day in, day out. Let me give you a terrific example. There's an awful lot of kind of really weird nonsense research that takes place. You know the stuff, it appears in the papers on a quiet news day. But there are also some brilliantly simple and powerful bits of social psychological research that are life-changing once you really get to grips with them. Let me give you an example. This was a piece of research done by Ellen Langer at Harvard back in 1978. And what she was looking at was whether she could increase people's compliance just by slightly changing the words that were used. So back in 1978, photocopiers were big, expensive and rare. So students would often queue up for ages just to get to use the photocopier. So what Ellen Langer did was to get people to try to jump the queue. She'd get them to go to the front of a queue and say, excuse me, I've just got 5 pages to make. Can I make some copies? And about 60% of people would say yes, because honestly, about 60% of people say yes to just about anything. Now, think on that for a second. If your close rate is less than 60%, you're probably just putting people off. Quiet, let's not mention that again. She then got people to go to the front of the queue and say, excuse me, I've just got 5 pages. Can I make some photocopies because I'm in a real rush and I've got to get to a lecture right now? 94% of people said yes. So we went from a baseline of 60 up to 94% if we used the word because and we had a really good reason. Can I cut in because I'm in a real rush and I've got to get to a lecture? 94%. This is the kicker. What she then did was have people go to the front of the queue, say, excuse me, can I cut in because I have to make some copies? What's everybody else doing? It was 94% if you had a really good reason. It's 93% if you have no real reason at all, but use the word because. Because it gives you that causal linkage that I just described. That's the power of a single word used properly. So, S is for summarise. Here's what we talked about, here's what you said, here's what we've agreed so far. Because of that, here's what I propose. Because of that, here's what I suggest. Because of that, why don't we? Because of that, how about? That's the advise stage. And then Q, well, you can probably work out for yourself because there ain't that many words in English that start with Q. Q is for question. Now, I don't mean some big, profound closing question or some clever thing. All I mean is a simple, what we call a tag question. Now, let me explain tag questions. A tag question is something as simple as, does that make sense? Is that okay? You all right with that? Is that okay with you? Is that all right? Simple, closed question. Is that okay? Does that make sense? Is that all right? Those simple tag questions. If you make a big thing of it at the end, the other person might think it's a big thing. But if you summarize everything, advise with the word because, is that okay? It becomes a single conversation at which the end of it, the obvious answer is, well, yeah, because everything you've said is true and makes sense. Because of all that truth, I suggest we do this. Is that okay with you? Yeah. Because everything makes perfect psychological sense for the other person. Your recommendation is based on everything you talked about and agreed on. You're asking whether it makes sense if it's okay. Well, yeah, of course it's okay because everything has made sense to them and everything is logical as far as they're concerned. Because what you're asking them to do, what you're proposing, suggesting, saying, how about we try this? The reason that you're saying that is because of everything that you've both said and agreed. It makes perfect logical sense. Now, am I saying that you can close someone on sending you their CV just by summarising back what they've said? Because of that, why don't we just get the CV on the record and then we can see where we go? Am I suggesting that you can use SAQ to get somebody's CV? Yeah. Can you use SAQ to get an exclusive from a client? Yeah. Do it all the time. Can you use SAQ to close a placement? Yeah, you can use it for closing the client, you can use it for closing the candidate. Absolutely. Can you use SAQ to close a deal selling your recruitment firm? Yes, you can. I can and do use SAQ for everything. Start having a look at the marketing messages that I send out on social media or on email if you're on my email list. And if you're not, by the way, sign up for the freebie below. And once you start looking at the way I'm presenting things, it's full of summaries, and because of that, suggestions and a question. Everything I present is based around an SAQ. Every conversation I have where I'm trying to get an action from somebody is based around an SAQ. I use it all the time for everything. I don't need, you don't need 365 ways to force somebody into something or trick them or con them or get one over on them. All you need is one way to get people to do what they already want to do so they can get out of their own way. That's what SAQ is designed to do. That's what it does do. That's what I've been doing for more than a decade now. And it works like a charm. Give it a go. Give me some feedback on what you find out. Hopefully this video has been good for you. If it has, click on the like button and the subscribe button. If you have any questions, ask them down in the comments and I will reply to every single comment that I get. I'll see you on the next video. Take care.